Hey everybody, welcome to the KetoMOM page. My name is Stephanie and we are diving back into a solid book for the entire book to help you with your mindset here on the page in the mornings, and that's what we're doing. So, if you're brand new, I would love for you to post new below so I can get to know you. If you are not brand new, I'm going to show you the book that we are going to go through in the mornings, and there's a reason why I'm doing this book. We've already done this book. I've read through some of the books on this page more than once, because isn't it interesting how you can listen to something, like I listen to podcasts and I listen to different messages from some of my favorite pastors, and I will listen to things once. Like, for example, I was listening to a message from a pastor last night as I was doing laundry, and I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I should write this down. And I thought, I'll remember it in the morning. I was doing laundry and getting ready for bed. And I told myself, I'll remember it. And then I woke up this morning and I thought, what did I want to write down? That was so good. And I don't remember it. Now I have to go back and re-listen to the message. I say all of that because if you don't know anything about this page is called KetoMOM. So naturally you would expect all things keto. And that's actually not the case. So if you've been here for a while, you totally understand. If you haven't been, you can go to ketomomsecrets.com. It is a blog. It is my website, ketomomsecrets.com. You can click on recipes. You can click on how to get started. You can click on book club. There's lots of different things. You can continue to tune into the page for different lives about keto. I did a keto live yesterday about keto snacks. And so I will share all things keto, low carb, healthy lifestyle. And I am 110% more passionate about other areas other than food that you're eating. Because if you can get some other things right, the food will fall into place. What I mean by that is this. If you can understand the power of what you think and the words that you speak and just having an awareness of how often you're eating, if you can understand just a couple things, you will find yourself making better choices. You could almost say that your thought life and the words you speak 100% will depict if you choose healthy food or junk food. I truly believe that. And so I was going through my bookshelf. I don't have necessarily a new book. My hope is to take books that, you can correlate between healthy living and mindset. I mean, there's a lot of good books that I read in general, right? Like I'll show you one. I'm not going to go through, I'm always reading different books, but I want to read a book that you can relate to in some way, shape, or form with your health. So there's a book that I'm reading. Why can't I, what in the world? This is weird. Okay. There's a book that I'm reading for parenting teenage girls. If you have a teenage daughter, I'm not going to go through this on here, but this book has been incredible. Like, mind-blowing awareness, unbelievable book. But I'm not going to do that on the KetoMOM page. I don't feel like it's the right book to talk about, right? I talk about this book a lot, Miracle Morning. There's another book that I'm reading, but I'm reading it for business purposes for my team. It's called Lead Like It Matters. I'm not going to go through this on the page. So I'm constantly looking at books, going through books, but a lot of it I'm like, I need it to have to do with mindset, shifting your mindset, shifting your belief. We've done this book before. It might have been either this last winter or a year ago, and I'm going to do it again. For the sole reason of I listened to a message last night, I told myself that I could remember something. I was like, I can remember that. Woke up this morning and I can't remember what I wanted to write down. I have to go through books, whether I read them or listen to them, more than once for me to retain it all, to understand it, to realize I should put action behind it. And so this is the book we're going to do, Winning the War in Your Mind. It's by Craig Groeschel. You can take a screenshot, and here's what you can do. You can either tune in here on the page and just listen and follow along, or I actually have done this before, so you can go to ketomomsecrets.com, click on the book club, and watch the lives there. You can get the book and follow along. This book is incredible. My husband used to work for this church. It's called Life Church. If you don't have a church, you can watch it online. It's unbelievable, but this book is powerful, and that's what we're going to go through because I 100% believe that, here's a phrase for you, and you want to know something? If you're truly, truly, truly looking at changing your life in any area of your life, you should be taking notes. You should have a journal. You should have a place that you write things down so that when you maybe have a moment or have a day or one of those things where you don't believe in yourself or you're frustrated or you just want to remember the blessings, like you should have things written down so you can go back and remember. You can go back to learn. You can go back and remind yourself so you can keep moving forward. So with all of that, here is something that I think is incredible. And before I memorized this, I wrote it down. And it's this. As I think, so I feel. As I feel, so I do. As I do, so I have. As I think, my thoughts creates a feeling, right? Good or bad. As I feel, so I do, which is the action. And as I do, that's what I get. So if we go back to the beginning of the live, I said, your thoughts and your words honestly depict if you choose junk food or healthy food. If I think positive, if I'm having a great day, if I get up and I own my morning, if I get up and I have this like I get to mentality, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to choose better. I'm going to get better. Does that make sense? If I get up with a negative attitude, woe is me, I will never, I can't, I feel that, and then I do that because I feel like garbage, then I choose garbage because I think it'll make me feel better and it doesn't, it makes me feel worse, and then I get the result of the junk. Does that make sense? So if there's something that you just want, I like to memorize little quotes to help me when I'm in a bad mood, when I have a bad moment, when I have a negative thought. I'll tell you, I had a moment yesterday of a negative, what's wrong? Good morning. My girls are waking up. We homeschool 4 girls. We're not officially starting school yet, so they're sleeping the rest of their summer for just a little bit longer. Good morning. All right, let's get started. You ready? Okay, this starts off by saying this. Our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts. What we think shapes who we are. What do you think? Do you agree with that? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'm going to read it one more time. If you agree what I just said, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, put a thumbs down, and it's okay. You can disagree. Our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts. What we think shapes who we are. Yes? I agree with that. The way we think, what we put into our minds, the things we listen to, the things we watch, and the things we speak shape our lives, and they shape who we are. All right. Our lives do follow the direction of our thoughts. And he's a pastor, but he very much says, listen, both the Bible and modern day science provide evidence that this is true, that your mind is powerful. So he's like, if you believe in the Bible, and he does, he's the pastor, he's like, that's truth. But if you don't, or you're not reading it, or you don't know what it says, he's like, our modern day science will tell you the same thing. They do tests, they watch the brain, they watch the thought patterns, they can test it to see how your life is shifted and changed by the thoughts that you're thinking. So here's what I do with the books. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and read it to you. I'm going to give you some things to think about to go throughout your day. It says in the last 10 years, in 10 years, we will each look in the mirror and someone will stare back at us. That person will be shaped by the thoughts of today. The life we have is a reflection of what we think. When you look at yourself in the mirror today, think about this. What am I thinking on? What am I reflecting on? What am I reading? What am I learning? Who am I learning from? It's super powerful. He says our thoughts shape our lives. He says in recent study, an entire discipline of modern psychology has developed, that didn't even make sense. Okay, modern psychology has developed something called cognitive behavioral therapy. So this is the science part. He says this breakthrough teaches and reveals that many problems, from eating disorders to relationship challenges to addictions to even some forms of depression and anxiety, are rooted in faulty and negative patterns of thinking. Treating those patterns become the challenge, and they work on their mindset. The first thing they work on is changing the pattern, changing the thinking right here. So I say all of that because if you've been going around the same mountain over and over again with your food and your health and not being able to lose the weight and feeling whatever you're feeling, let's say it's not even about food, relationships, you're going around the mountain, nothing's working. You feel like nothing is working, right? You're doing the same thing year after year. If you're going around that mountain then you need to take a look at what's right here, right? What am I thinking? What am I believing? How am I feeling? And you need to give yourself some time to change that, restructure that. And how do you do that? You get up in the morning, and instead of going down the negative trail, you go, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to keep a journal by my bed. And before I do anything, I'm going to write 5 things I'm thankful for the rest of the year. All I'm going to do is write down. Like, I looked out at my lake. I live on a lake, and this morning I just sat here and I was like, thank you, God, for this incredible water. Thank you for this home. Thank you that my kids can sleep in. I'm thankful that I'm healthy. I'm thankful that I can homeschool. Like, let's just start right now. What are you thankful for? Because just the act of gratitude will shift the way that you think and can shift your entire day. So there's things you can do to start changing and reverse the other way going around the mountain, and let's go up the mountain and conquer the mountain by paying attention to the thoughts you're thinking. You have to capture the negative. When you find yourself being negative, you've got to go, no. You just have to tell yourself to stop. And then you have to replace it with a positive thought, or a book that you're reading, or a phrase that you know of, or just sitting in peace for 2 seconds to go, that's not truth. It's not me. I'm comparing. That's not how I should be thinking, right? Get a book out, read, find some of your favorite, I would say, worship music or songs that are going to uplift you. Call a friend. Like, there's lots of things you can do to shift the way that you're thinking. What we think about determines who we will become tomorrow. He says, that will make our thoughts more powerful. It says, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. That's from Proverbs. So as he thinks in his heart, so is he. One more thing. Our lives are, so I want to know this. Here's the thought I want to leave with you today. Our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts. What we think will shape who we become. So if today all you do is take inventory, that was just the introduction. That's not even chapter 1. If you think today and you take inventory of what you're thinking about throughout your day, how you're feeling, the words that you're speaking, and if you find yourself down this negative trail, this negative, you need to stop. The first thing you need to do is go, oh, I caught it. Oh my goodness. I am being negative, and I'm not going to be. You can easily, you know how easy it is to pick out other people's negativity? You hear it. Might be a little bit harder to pick out your own. But once you do, then you say, not going to do it. I'll give you one word. Are you ready for this? I shared it in my stories yesterday. Is this making sense? And let me ask you this question. Whether you've gone through this book or not, do you feel like this will be helpful to you? I actually need to know for sure, because if you don't think it's going to be helpful, I honestly don't have to do it. So why don't you drop a heart below if you think it's going to be helpful in the comments. If this is going to help you in any way, shape, or form, and it doesn't even have to be with your health. It could be with your marriage or parenting or your finances, the way you think about that, or your job or anything, right? So here's what I want you to know is if you have an awareness, first of all, of how you're thinking, you can learn to stop it. There's one word that I shared yesterday in my stories because yesterday I was having an incredible day. We were getting stuff done. We were unpacking. I was like, I got to get school finished and finalized. I was working on, which I didn't succeed on the computer, of doing some things for the girls and just getting stuff done. I love to be productive. I rarely just sit. So I'm feeling good. And isn't it interesting how one post from somebody that you see online can like derail you in the weirdest way? I love social media. And then I also don't love it because there's things where I'm like, I have to remind myself, I don't see the backstory. I know the truth. You know, sometimes somebody posts something and you're like, that's not how that happened. Or like, but wait, I'm the reason that you did that. So it's interesting because I actually had 2 instances yesterday. I was feeling amazing. I was doing amazing. I really was having a great day. And I saw 2 things that instantly popped into my mind. And I could have easily been angry for, honestly, I'll be real, for probably 5 seconds. I was angry at first. I started comparing myself because of something that happened. I got super frustrated, and then I was like, maybe I should just quit. You guys, in a matter of 5 seconds, I was on cloud 9 of having an incredible day, and then 2 posts from 2 different people that I had saw. I'm usually, like, if I'm doing laundry, I'm answering questions, I'm commenting on my team's posts, I'm encouraging my team, there's so many things I'm doing, and then I saw 2 things, and I was instantly frustrated. And I learned a word from Jay Shetty, and the word is called mudita. Have you guys ever heard of this word? You could Google it. There's not a word in the English language that means the same thing. I shared this in my stories, but the word is called mudita. And I was sitting at my kitchen counter, trying not to be frustrated, and I sat there for a second, and I was like, the word mudita popped into my mind, and I went, mudita. I'm going to run my own race. I'm not going to be frustrated with other people's actions. Mudita means to have pure joy, without envy, without anger, without bitterness, without comparison for that person, for that situation. Like that situation, those 2 situations were not affecting me in any way, shape, or form, really. Like, not really. And so I use that word, mudita, when I see something, especially on social media, when I see I just want you to have something so that you can go, mudita. You know what? I'm going to choose because it is a choice. Your thought pattern and your thought process and the things you think about are choices. I could have easily went down and spiraled down the route of anger and comparison and frustration all day. It could have wrecked my day, which if I was crabby, I could have barked at my kids or yelled at my kids or been frustrated. But instead, I went, mudita. I'm going to choose joy for those 2 people. I'm going to just get out of the comparison mode, not be frustrated. I'm not going to allow myself down there. I'm going to simply go, I'm happy for them. And I'm going to move on. Like, I'm not going to go watch it. I'm not going to dwell on it. So you've got to choose, right? You have to work on your mindset every single day. And there are going to be things that come up against you that will challenge you to maybe be frustrated, to get angry, to compare, to quit. And you have to choose to not do that. So mudita, I'm not going to do that, right? Mudita, I'm not going to be angry with other people. I'm not going to be frustrated. I'm going to run my own race. Some of you need to hear this. You need to run your own race. You're not comparing to your sister, and you shouldn't compare yourself to your best friend or your coworker. Like, everybody's different. And if you are doing the best that you can in the place that you're at, you're working on your mindset, you're speaking positivity over you and other people, like, you're loving others and you're loving yourself. And I'm not expecting perfection, but I'm expecting growth over a consistent period of time. That's what you need to do. So, run your own race. Focus on your goals. You either watch other people to learn from them or you get rid of them. Like those 2 people, I actually think I'm going to unfollow, which is fine. I can do that, right? Doesn't hurt me. And it's just going to allow me not to go down that spiral route. Again, I knew it. I caught it. I switched it. And I moved on for the rest of my day, having a great night with my kids. So this book, I hope, serves you. This book, I hope, gives you some type of understanding and concept of how to win the war in your mind, because your mind, everything starts right here. Or what you're hearing and what you're seeing causes thoughts. So today, if the only thing that you do is think about that one little phrase that I said, our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts. What we think will shape who we become. Pay attention to who you're becoming. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to your words. It's going to be powerful, and we'll continue to go through this book. So thank you for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. If this adds any value to your life, I would love for you to press the share button so other people can join us. Otherwise, continue to tune into the page. You can head to KetoMomSecrets.com for a foods list, recipes, how to get started, book club, and so much more. Otherwise, send me a message. I'm always here to help. Have an incredible morning or afternoon, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye, everybody.